What's up, and welcome to another episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. I'm very, very happy to announce I have a very special guest with me, one of two NBA champions from right here in San Diego, my guy, Jared Dudley. I appreciate you joining me, man.
I'm coming.
Absolutely. Yes. Trying to set this up for me. I'm glad to finally make it happen, man. Absolutely. So you're now coaching with the Denver Nuggets. How's it, getting into the new season? What's going on with that?
First day of training camp. I mean, I would lie to you, man. It's a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement. First assistant. It's my 5th year, so to come back to San Diego and to have this, Coach Jokic. So, we went about an hour and a half, but, our defense struggled last year, even though we came close to the Thunder. So for me, it's just being on point with my stuff and being precise. When you're in a championship quality team, they know if you know your stuff. So I'm thinking about it like as a player. I'm thinking about it as a coach when I'm in my room, of the film, of the teaching perspective. And so I'm ready, but it's just, now we're here.
I hear you. Was the goal when you, of course, you're trying to be the best player that you can be. But when you were playing, was it always a goal of yours to be a coach?
No, I mean, I've always been a guy that you plant enough seeds and you watch them grow. One of them's going to grow. So when I was playing, by my 8th year, you see all these, you can go on YouTube if you don't believe me, you see all these ex-players now doing ESPN. They used to call it the car wash. So back in the day, I did First Take when it was Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. I did Sports Center. I did, it was not Cold Pizza, but it was early Get Up early in the morning. I was doing Fox Sports. So I had the TV thing down on lock, where they were calling me every year. I went to Bristol, Connecticut. Now it's in New York. I was doing that. But then towards the end of my career, I met with Adam Silver when I was playing for Brooklyn, and then there was a GM program. So after the Lakers, I actually was thinking about becoming a GM. It wasn't until I talked to T. Lue and Rich Paul where they were talking about the money for coaching, and if you get fired, you can still become an assistant coach. And then once the Lakers didn't want me back my final year, Jason Kidd ended up becoming the head coach of Dallas, and I went from a player to the front of the bench. And if I told people how rare that is, I think it's only been done 3 times and maybe 4 in NBA history, where you go from a player to front of the bench being an assistant coach.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. What was that like some of those conversations like with some of your peers about you being able to do that?
Man, I think people just were shocked because it really happened. You see it 2 or 3 times, you go from player to head coach, but it's very rare player from the bench. I think the only one might be San Diego, Luke Walton, when he did it for the Warriors.
That's right.
For one, you got to have a head coach that believes in you so much to be able to be front bench. A lot of times you got to pay your dues and work your way up. But for me, listen, it's all the things that I've done as a player, high IQ, doing stuff the right way, being a good teammate. It just shows you that if you do stuff the right way, it comes to you in the back end.
Absolutely. So you played 15 years in the league, and now you're just going into your 5th year coaching.
Yes.
I want to take it all the way back to the beginning, you being from San Diego.
Yes.
You played at Horizon and averaged, I believe, 28 points, 25?
I mean, you know what? Those numbers, anywhere between 25 and 28.
Right. But dominating nonetheless.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now your school, before we get into like your playing career, your school actually no longer exists.
Crazy.
How does that feel?
It doesn't feel good.
I'm sure.
Before I even went to Horizon was a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Horizon won 7 CIFs. I actually was going to go to Saints. My brother went to Saints. Jelani McCoy for UCLA. Darryl Russell, rest in peace, was a Pro Bowler from the Raiders. I was going to go there. I tell people this. I tell my mom this all the time. My brother passed the test. I couldn't pass the test to get in.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't pass the test. I went to Horizon. Horizon was right by me, and I told my mom. My mom was crying. I tell people this story all the time. I was like, Mom, don't worry. Listen, we'll go to another school. And ended up working out perfect. Horizon. So when I went to Horizon, obviously we had success there, and I would give back, make sure everything's good. But then tech school came in and bought it out, the lease. And obviously it was church-based first. Christianity had the school and ended up moving it. And now it's crazy because between us and it used to be Uni, now Cathedral. Those were the 2 probably most winningest programs in San Diego history, man. So Lincoln probably is also in there too. But it's devastating not to be able to go to a game, or I didn't even get my jersey. My jersey retired.
So when the choice? So you say you were going to go to the Saints, but ended up at Horizon. Was that because they were just some of the best schools, or was like a Christian element to it?
My brother went to Saints. I mean, I went to St. Charles and Point Loma. I grew up in Claremont, and so for me, my mom wanted to go to private schools. I ended up moving up here north in Solana Beach. But for me, even when people don't know, I lived in Encinitas, Leucadia, and would bus down to Claremont for Horizon. I would take a coaster and 2 buses just to get there. And for me, I just wanted top basketball. Torrey Pines, I could have gone there. It was good. It was a little more diverse down there, and also academically, I didn't like the block schedule. If anyone knows about block schedule, it's 2 hours of classrooms. My ADD, Horizon and Saints was 50 minutes per class. And they just had former NBA players or NFL players, and I just wanted to be around that energy.
I hear you. Now, like dominating the way you did in high school, leading your team to championships, what was it like experiencing all that success, being a dominant player, but not being heavily recruited?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. One thing about me, I've always been the underdog anywhere I have. I was never highly recruited. Freshman year, played freshman. Sophomore year, I started on the JV team. I got brought up middle of the year. We ended up losing to Jairus Cole from Bishops. Anybody know Jairus Cole? I remember. Jairus Cole was a hooper. He actually hit I actually have the video. He hit a 75-foot shot at the buzzer to beat us. We were up 2 from half full court, threw it up there, bang, and that shot basically changed Horizon because we were so locked in, back-to-back CIF and State champions. And then for me, it's always about progression. Life to me is always about a marathon, not a sprint. My body, I got better shape. Zach Jones was a intense, high-level coach that pushed us, ran us to death, physical to death. He was the perfect coach for me, but it was something that I needed to push for me to get my body. And then once I grew and I started thinning out, and I think I was 6'6" by my senior year, I knew I had a chance and it was go time for me.
Now, how did you land on Boston College? Took a full scholarship to Boston College.
I had the scholarship at BC. When I had at Horizon, St. Mary's offered me, Creighton offered me. Kyle Korver just got left the NBA. I went out there to Nebraska. It wasn't for me at that time. But what I did, people don't understand this. You can look this up. The West Coast wasn't big on prep schools. They didn't know about reclassifying. I graduated at 17. My birthday is July 10th. So when I was a senior, I'm actually the youngest senior probably in the country at that time because my birthday is July, maybe someone in August at that time. So I actually declared for prep school when I was maybe in January, February. I was thinking about transferring to Mount Zion in North Carolina. Me and my mom actually went out there. But at that time, I would have to drop out of school. So I didn't even know what prep school was. Once I found out about it and I see these kids were 19 and 20, I'm like, wait, hold on. I'll go to prep school, get a whole nother year. So I actually declared for prep school. So I got to play in that whole summer circuit. While everyone was going to college, I'm now, instead of being the youngest kid, I'm the oldest kid. So I get invited to ABCD camp. I made the all-star team. It was the last year. That class came out of high school. So there I was J.R. Smith, Dwight Howard, Sebastian Telfair, all those guys, Sean Livingston. I made the all-star team. We won the best of summer in LA. We beat Dwight Howard, Javaris Crittenton, Randolph Morris, Atlanta Celtics. And BC came in August. 2 people got kicked out. I was already qualified for my SAT. And I went on my visit in August, and a week later, I was in BC. I turned down San Diego State. Fisher was mad about that, but for me, it was, hey, listen, I was in your backyard for 4, 5, 6 years. By that time, BC I know was Big East, and then going into the ACC.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would have. Sounds like an easy choice to make.
Yeah, I mean, easy choice. I didn't know how tough it was academically, but for me, growing up, my dad was from Wilmington, North Carolina, Michael Jordan. I wanted to go to Carolina.
Gotcha.
I saw the Carolina Duke. So once I saw BC after my second year, they were moving into the ACC. I'm like, I get to play against the best players in the country. So to me, it lined up for everything that I wanted to accomplish.
And what was that collegiate journey like, going from coming in to getting the scholarship late, getting recruited to them late, and then coming into the team, because you went on to really be one of the top players in the country by the time you were leaving.
I was an All-American my senior year, ACC Player of the Year. I don't know too many people in San Diego if that's ever happened, to be honest with you. For me, the Big East, man, I played against all the coaches. I had Syracuse with Boeheim. I had Calhoun and UConn, who we beat. We beat Syracuse at home, with 2 top 10 teams who went bummers to floor. To me, BC was everything I needed. It was underdogs. It was no one knew who we were. I got to be able to express myself. People don't know, my junior and senior year, you can look this up, I led the country in minutes played.
Oh, wow.
Who would have thought a kid from San Diego would play more than anyone? 39.5. I came out for 30 seconds.
Iron Man.
Played the whole game. But for me, I wanted to stack up to see how good I was compared to the top teams. You see the rankings, and made the tournament every year. We're top 25, and at one point in time, we were number 2 in the country, 20-0. So to be able to have that opportunity, go against Coach K, Roy Williams, man, I definitely, more people don't, some people don't even know I'm from San Diego. They think I'm from Boston because of the success I had at Boston College.
What would you say is your probably like your most memorable game, or like one of your like highest moments at Boston College?
I think I had 34 versus Villanova. Villanova was good, man. Kyle Lowry still playing in the NBA. Randy Foy, top 10 pick. Who else did they have? Nardi was a guard. At home, we were like 17-0. I ended up having one of my best games, like 34-35 in a win. Man, that game, the Syracuse game, they brought us to 4. The Slam magazine is the crowd picking me up. I think I had 25. It was just... At that time, I didn't have. At that time, I never had handles. It was a flex offense that actually, if you told a kid to play flex now, they wouldn't go to your school. But it maximized my skill of IQ passing, open shots, toughness, and I couldn't go to Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina. Athleticism, free flowing. So for kids out there, you got to pick the school and the type of coach and the program that fits your style more so than the name.
At what point did the NBA interest come in?
NBA interest. When I was a kid, I wanted NBA. When I lived in Encinitas, I ride the wall. The top small forwards and Pippen, KG, Grant Hill, their height and their weight. It's always been that. I knew I had a chance once I became my senior year. I was Player of the Year in San Diego, State Player of the Year. And you go to Boston College, now I know I'm one step away. And then my freshman year, I made the freshman team. My sophomore and junior year, I don't know if I'm the only player. If not, it might be one other. I was first team All Big East. The next year, I was first team All ACC. If you're first team in the toughest conference, the most likely you're going to be playing in the NBA. So I knew by my sophomore year, I'm right there.
You know, just from some of the kids that I've known over the past few years, Lamont Butler comes to mind. So it's like when you have a good year as a sophomore, as a junior, and the NBA interest is there. How difficult is that decision? Is it like, okay, should I go pro now? Should I come back another year? Like, what was that decision like for you?
My junior year, we were top 15. At that time, you had to have a tournament buzz. So we ended up losing second round to Villanova. And if we would have, we lost in the Sweet 16. So if I would have won that, we would have gone to the Elite 8 and played Florida, who ended up winning it. I thought I had to go to the Final Four to get buzzed. I didn't have the athletic ability. I didn't have a 40-inch. My threes, I still needed another year of development at that time. And they didn't look down, as poorly as they do now of 4-year players. And so for me, it's, hey, listen, if you're a first-round pick, you need to get out of here. Now it's NIL. Imagine how much money I would have made if NIL was going around back then. But now it's easier for you to stay because now they're paying you $800, $1.2 million to stay. So for one, it's sometimes it's better to take a little bit less if it's the right situation, and you have a coach that you can keep growing.
When you said they look even like have more of a negative view on 4-year players now, what do you think the biggest reason is for that? I watched Gilbert Arenas a lot, and he was talking about just like the age of a player, just that alone, just the age.
That is one, and also too, that's a great question of why they did that. I think overall is the reason why you didn't come out because you probably weren't 6'7", 6'8", long wingspan. So what was the reason beforehand? Because if you're not as fully developed, they want to develop you. If you're 6'9", the 7-foot wingspan, the 40-inch vertical, they want you to come out to develop. So it's usually guys like me and Draymond Green, undersized, couldn't really shoot, couldn't jump. Buddy Hield was a shooting guard. He wasn't athletic. He could shoot. He didn't maybe play his freshman, sophomore year. And now it's easier for guys to stay, but I just think that we didn't match the prototype of what the NBA was back then.
It's got me also thinking about, because I film a lot of high school basketball here in town. It's got me thinking about like just some of the like the trials that like some of the holdbacks that the high school players have now with the bubble, and how like I talk to a lot of high school coaches, and they talk about how college coaches they don't really look for high school players anymore. They're like kind of like second rate.
Yeah, because listen, if I got to win right now and I'm getting 8-9 new players, why do I want a freshman? If you're a freshman and if I don't play you, you're going to transfer anyway. So I'd rather get a transfer who's a JUCO or a sophomore who's a 6-man somewhere come start here. And so that's why I got a son. I reclassified my son. So by that time, hey, listen, I want you to be a year older. I want your body to be more mature, because when you got to go in, you might have to play, or you're coming off the bench somewhere, and then when you get your chance. So they're not taking high school. Rick Pitino just said that. So for the San Diego kids, sometimes it's good to reclassifying. You see it in Texas, like someone like Shador, even though he's football, Shador's 23.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Look, you look at these ages, these Texas kids. I was in Dallas 4 years. They all reclassified. Mm-hmm. And so overall, it's not even an advantage no more. That's just the new norm.
Yeah.
Hey, Cooper Flagg, Gilbert Arenas' son, they reclassified down. Then they knew they were really, really good. So then they reclassified back up to go. So but you saw, they still reclassified first, then to go back up. That's just the new thing. It gives your body another year. Imagine those kids that are in JUCO and they're just chilling, and now they get their strength in their body. Imagine you could have had that in high school.
Yeah. I've always, never had an issue with reclass. Now, some you hear some cases where it gets a bit extreme.
Well, the parents are doing it wrong. They're reclassifying and then playing their grade. So my son reclassified 7th grade, but he's going to play with the 8th graders.
Gotcha.
You're going to play your age, even though you don't play your grade. So that's what it is. So you have a kid that's 16, but he's playing with the 15-year-olds, and then he's 16, getting ready to turn 17.
Amazing.
So hey, listen, when I was growing up, when you were in 7th grade, you wanted to play with the 9th and 10th graders. Yeah. When you were in 9th grade, you wanted to play with the seniors. You wanted to play with the older cats, the physicality, and try to bust their head compared to the other way around.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of times when I hear the negative I'm not actually really not sure why I always hear the negative outlook, because I always saw it as no, if you're reclassing to win a high school championship, that's one thing. But if you're reclassing to get a scholarship and to go to college for free, who could ever say anything bad about that?
We used to make fun of you because you'd come in and you'd be too old for your grade. When I was grade, if you're a freshman and the kid was 16, you're like, wait, man, you old as hell. You would joke
super
around.
Seniors.
But now the money, you could be 17 in Texas and get NIL in high school now. California, you could do that. Juju Watkins signed a beach deal when she was at Sierra Canyon her senior year. So now it's a different play. Yeah. Now you see these college kids with chains on. Now they ain't clowning no more. Yeah. Now it's a little bit different. So it's more of a business now. And in the West Coast, we were just behind on it. We didn't have prep schools. All the prep schools were in Connecticut, East Coast, Maine, and now the only one we remember was Oak Hill. Yeah. That was the only one people. Now there's tons everywhere.
So you think the lack of prep schools is why the West Coast was kind of behind the ball in that?
My coach, Zach Jones, in the Horizon, did Balboa prep. He had Jalen Hands from San Diego. Yep. When he went to UCLA, he had DeAndre Ayton, who he had him for a year, and then went to Arizona prep school. The prep school, because eventually, man, listen, you want your kids to get an education. Some kids, I have 3 kids. My oldest daughter's smart, straight A's. My son struggles like I do. He's not going to get an academic scholarship. So now I got to mold him. Hey, listen, if basketball doesn't work out, your personality, of networking, of understanding what you have to do. But we're going to go until basketball doesn't work out. So there's certain steps you have to do. Just like you were, hey, I want to go to Bishop's because they're academic La Jolla Country Day. Well, I might want to go to this school for basketball. And at the same time, you can still develop different ways for the real world.
I hear you. So you finished up at Boston College. What was that? Talk to me about draft night, man. What was that like, finally hearing your name called?
I did a party at F1. It's not even there anymore. So I did my workout at the Warriors. I fly in. I get a couple rooms at I think it's the Marriott. It's the one with overlooks the ballpark, Petco downtown. Had it downtown. I had Channel 6, Channel 8 there. And I always remember when you have draft night, you get the phone call. And here, I didn't even get the phone call. So I knew I was going to be in the top 15. I knew my range at that time was 18 to 35. And I tell this story all the time. It makes people laugh, but with I think it was the 18th pick, the Lakers had it. I had a good workout. Phil Jackson, triangle. That's kind of my style. Luke Walton had it. Kind of very similar players on that one. And I remember David Stern was with the 18th pick, the Los Angeles Lakers select Javaris Prince. I thought I was saying Jared. I was like, oh, I thought I was going to LA. It was just at that time. But I was 4 picks later, 22. I didn't even know. It was the Charlotte Bobcats, which is the Charlotte Hornets. And who would have thought, kid from San Diego who gets drafted to Charlotte, and Michael Jordan's the one calling you the next day, welcoming you. And a cool story is the year before, Santa Barbara used to have the top college players and the top high school players. They would meet at Michael Jordan's camp. I ended up being able to play. I played at nighttime. Me and Jordan were on the same team. And if Jordan was here, I wish if you remember the story better. It was one of my best games. I was like 10 for 10, making threes, floaters, pull-ups. And I remember getting an autograph that I still have from that camp. He was like, man, your game really improved. And then a year later, he's the one that drafted me. So that's my Jordan story.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I got stories for days, man.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What was the first time? What was your first moment? Like, all right, I'm here moment in the NBA. Whether like you got somebody got you, like training camp, like what was that moment?
One, I get a jump ball. I think it's like game 3 or game 4. It's me and Yao Ming, and I'm looking up and Yao Ming 7'7". I'm doing a jump ball. I'm like, wow. Another one is I believe Shaq was on Miami and we're crossing passes. I'm looking at Shaq. I'm like, yo, I'm here. I think game 2 or 3, playing the Milwaukee Bucks, Michael Red was killing me, busting my ass. I was just like getting fouls and just the game. And then my first good game, my first start was versus the Boston Celtics. They won the championship. They wanted me to start at power forward. Jared, you got Kevin Garnett. And it was my first double-double. I think I had like 11 and 10.
Nice.
And people can look at the highlight. It's the one where the coach should have called a timeout to advance the ball. He was a rookie coach. He didn't know. So we're on our side. They tip the ball, and Ray Allen hits the game-winning 3 right over me.
I remember that.
He should have advanced the ball. He didn't know, but that game was my first start of the double-double.
Nice. I mean, at least you got the double-double.
Yeah, for sure.
What was your favorite thing about playing for Charlotte and playing for Michael Jordan?
He would be on the plane. We'd be gambling. He would just talk. Him talking trash. It's like, man, like Jordan was invincible. Like, dog, like even him just on there, like that's Michael Jordan. I just think him coming down to practice. Sometimes he would hoop with us. We were young, man. So it felt like a college team. Sean May, Raymond Felton, Emeka Okafor was the number 2 pick. Adam Morrison was the 3rd pick. We were young, but my years there was just like, man, like my brother was living with me. It's the first time you making money. I bought an Escalade. I got my own place. But it was just happened so real. And then year 2, I get traded in December to Phoenix. And at that time, everyone wanted to play with Steve Nash. I'm like, I get to play with Steve Nash? He gets everybody paid. And so it went from there to when I went to Phoenix. I was like, this is it.
I bet. I want to ask about Phoenix, but you just said made me think of another question. Was the Escalade, was that your first big purchase?
First big purchase. Well, I mean, listen, I didn't have a car in Boston. You didn't need one. I get there, I got a little condo. I end up buying that car, and then maybe 2-3 years later, my other big purchase was buying actually a house here in Carmel Valley. I ended up buying the house here. I should have kept it. It's been worth a lot about now. But at that time, my mom works for a law firm, so she was really smart with it. I bought that, but you're only here for 2-3 months. And I would rent it out and had some problems with that. So I ended up selling it because, as we all know how expensive California is, I then ended up buying in Arizona, which actually was cheaper. Tax purposes was better. I wanted to claim Arizona as a residence. But my crib and my home, I bought a diamond cross, so I had the real earrings, and then my watch. And then by my 3rd year, I was like, I got rid of all of it.
Oh yeah, why'd you get rid of it? Just didn't want it?
I was out there in San Diego. I was walking around and stuff like that. My boys were like, yo, you need to put that stuff. I was like, just too much attention. What for? I didn't need it. And at the end of the day, it's like a lot of people, you do it for recognition. But to be honest with you, not to be, say who I was, but people already recognized me at that time. You're playing in the NBA. If I'm in San Diego, there's only so many NBA players you have here.
Right.
People can look you up and Google you at that time. So for me, it was just the wrong reasons.
I hear you. So you're in Phoenix.
Yep.
You get to play with Steve Nash. Talk to me about that excitement of getting there and like, I'm probably gonna get a big contract after this one.
Some of the best years of my life, to be honest with you. I get in there when I first have my kid. I play with Nash. 7 seconds or less. We're out here pushing it. Shaq's on the team. Now Shaq's in. This is when Shaq last All-Star with the Jabberwockies. This is where I really lock into my body. The Steve Nash died. Grant Hill's my teammate. I'm the young kid, but I'm hanging out with the older kids, older vets, learning the game. We go to the Western Conference Final. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Lose to him. Kobe shoots the air ball game 5. It's 2-2. We're tied up. He airballs it. Ron Artest catches the air ball. Game-winning layup. We're down 3-2. That was the year I thought we were going to win the finals, just because if we win that game, you're up 3-2 going home. you would play Boston, and I know Boston was good. We were 2-0 versus Boston that year. They just couldn't guard Amari and Steve Nash. But learning that, Steve ended up getting me paid. I think I signed up my 5-year deal my 5th year, and then eventually move on to the Clippers.
What was that? Were you traded or did you go in the offseason?
I got traded for Eric Bledsoe.
That's right.
It was a 3-way trade, me and J.J. Redick for Eric Bledsoe.
Talk to me about the experience of being traded, because I hear different players talk about it where it's like you feel one way because it's like, dang, these people don't want me, but then there's a whole organization over here that really does.
I was happy for most of them. My first one, Charlotte, me going to Phoenix, Steve Nash got me paid. I'm in Phoenix, it's run its course. Nash is left to go to the Lakers. Grant Hill went to the Clippers, then retired. It was just like me, Turkoglu, Amari's with the Knicks, signed a $100 million deal. And so now I'm like, oh, Clippers is Lob City. Also, anybody obviously knows San Diego. San Diego used to be the Clippers. So to be able to go there, I'm excited, play with CP, and I'm on record with this. Once I get there, it was my worst experience. So sometimes in life, what you think is your best experience was where I'm close to home. I played like shit. I was hurt. I couldn't get right for that one, and that's why I got traded 1 year from there. We ended up losing to KD in the second round. It was his first MVP. We beat Steph Curry in the first round in 7. That's when Sterling gets kicked out.
That's right.
Yeah, that one. And then, I went from starting to role player to DNPs. And to be honest with you, this is the first time I couldn't even complain because I couldn't perform. My knee was messed up. And then it all changed when I got traded from there to Milwaukee.
So what's that like, going from a big market to a really small market?
I thought they were trying to end my career. At that time, Milwaukee.
You thought the Clippers were trying to end your career?
Yeah, in a way, a player thinks that because Milwaukee is like when you go to end, it's over. At that time, Giannis is a rookie. No one knows about Giannis.
Right.
Everyone, they were worse than the Sixers, and the Sixers were publicly trying to lose on purpose.
Yeah.
No one knows about you, and how God works ended up being the best thing for my career. I get traded there. Giannis is. He's not Giannis yet, but he's close. We draft Jabari Parker. This is when Draymond Green is now showing you that he is now an undersized 4. I asked Coach now to change me from a 3 to a 4 because I see Draymond. I ended up having not one of my best seasons. I had a good season. We played D Rose and Joakim Noah in the first round. We lose in 6, but we had like a 24-game turnaround from the year before. I get to get with Jason Kidd, who then I get with the Lakers, and I get with Dallas, so my connection there. And then they do me a solid because Jabari Parker tore his ACL in like game 40. He comes back the next year. They traded me to Washington, where again now I'm back with John Wall, another pass first point guard like Steve Nash, and now it's my contract year, and now I have a chance to go get paid again.
I hear you. I've heard, obviously from like watching interviews, I've heard a lot of players usually say a lot of good things about playing. Well, it's kind of split actually.
Playing where?
Playing in Washington. I've heard like really good things and then really bad
Great
things.
city. I thought for me, listen, we all love San Diego. You know, you have Southeast San Diego down there. You know, some people in North County. To me, it was a great culture shock. I went to school in Boston, so you had New York, but now I take my kids, my wife and my kids, and we down in D.C., and now when I go to Starbucks, everyone's black. It's like, wow. I go to Mastro's to eat. The chefs are black.
Chocolate City.
Like, wow. I'm like, okay. We live downtown. All the museums are free. So we go there. The zoo's free. So we're walking everywhere. Wow. We're seeing this one. We're going to all these different places. Culture. They got you got the presidential election going on. It's just like you're there. And you're like, wow. You get to really see it up here. So I love DC. John. My best 3-point shooting years was 43 or 44 with Steve Nash. I was 41 with John Wall. And that's when I signed back with Phoenix. I think I signed my biggest deal. I think it was 3 for 30 at that time. Man, it was so easy. I loved it. I had a great time. It was only 1 year. But Phoenix, to me, besides San Diego, Phoenix was my second home. So to go back there was perfect.
I was going to ask you that. It's probably like a great feeling to go back to a team that you played for before.
Yeah, especially if it's a city. For one, Phoenix is West Coast. It's it's a 4 or 5 hour drive. My mom could fly, take her 1 hour. The city's booming, it's growing, it's stuff to do. And most people know me from either Boston College, Phoenix Suns, if you're from Dago, obviously you knew it, and then now lately, because I won a championship, the Lakers. But before the Lakers, man, it was people talking about BC and Phoenix Suns. Those were the two that they knew who I was.
I still remember the Brooklyn days. You had some big moments in Brooklyn.
The Brooklyn days came at the end because of the dancing, you're messing around. People loved D-Lo at that time. We were a fun team interacting. Then the whole Joel Embiid and Jimmy Butler, we had the fight going into the stands. So that one came in. That's when, so that's every time I go to New York, they show me love. But that was for me now. I'm now the vet. It's now my time to pass on it. And that's why it's so funny. Kenny Atkinson was that one. I almost had a job to go to Cleveland with Kenny. So people don't understand, man, the people you meet and how you act,
100%.
it can come back on you. And that's all my relationships are either through my agent or through the teams that I play for. So, man, I only had one bad experience with the Clippers, and that was one of the better teams I had, man.
Yeah, I've always rooted for, I'm a big Lakers fan.
Yeah.
I'm originally from LA, always been in San Diego, but I've also rooted for the Clippers too because I have family in LA.
Yeah.
But and this is just my theory on it, but you can ask my brother, I've always said I feel like the Clippers aren't really going to have much success until they change the name and the color scheme because of all that Donald Sterling stuff that's still on the team. Yeah. I firmly believe that.
The one thing I will say is they got a mascot, they got out the arena, they got the practice facility, they've done it. I would just say this, man, like, it's just a different energy. It's even the only thing I will say in Brooklyn, once we were good, that energy was dope. But it wasn't the Garden, but it was a dope. The Clippers one, even though it's huge, it's a beautiful arena, that energy is not a Laker game.
Right.
I didn't play for both. And I'm not just saying it just to say it because the Brooklyn energy was dope, but even it took Brooklyn a while. If you're not really, really good in Brooklyn, they're not coming out. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you root for them. You know, you root. Obviously, now I'm in the NBA. You more whatever team I'm on. But overall, like you want the big markets to be good because it's better for the NBA.
Now you see those, some of the heated battles in NBA, heated playoff battles in the NBA. So the battles that you guys had with Philly, and more in particular with you and
Ben Simmons.
Yes. Yeah. With the arms up and that was dope. I remember watching that on TV. I'm like, let's go, Dago, baby. Like, so when you have like such a heated battle and a heated moment with a player like that, how often does it stay on the court and how often does it like carry to off the court?
That one didn't really carry off the court. I saw him off the court. What I try to tell people is if anyone that knows me, I'm probably the goofiest, outgoing in person. But something switches when I hit a court. And that's what made me get to the NBA. It's when I grew up in North County, where I would go down to San Diego to play with Marlon Wells at San Diego High. We would play on the blacktop. It's just different. Like you have to have some of a toughness. I'm going to lack in the height versus you, the athleticism. The only thing I'm going to have an advantage is most likely IQ. So on that one, I know I have to either assert myself, be tough. And I also was teaching those young guys, hey, listen, if Joel Embiid elbows you guys, and he gets a flagrant foul, you got to get him back. Because Jared Allen, you're going to be playing against him for 10 years, which you see that rival in that battle. And so the whole thing, the Ben Simmons thing, I actually really wasn't even trying to make fun of him. When I was doing the interview, they were asking me how you slow him down. I said, listen, we got to get Ben Simmons in the half court. When he's on the half court, he's average. When he's in the full court, he's an all-star. So they probably took the clip and told him, hey, he thinks you're average.
Got you.
And he said, oh, who's Jared? It wasn't me even being disrespectful. It's, hey, listen, we all have flaws or whatever. Jared, you're a three-point shooter. You can't guard. Like, everyone has something. So maybe he didn't want to hear that. But we won game one. I didn't play in game two because of my calf. And for me, once Joel Embiid elbowed Jared Allen, when I thought he did it again, that's when I went and I bumped him, and then eventually we were going to the stands. I ended up losing, I think $25,000 for that. But the Ben Simmons was like, he kind of put his arms out when I airballed, and that, I knew that I was tougher than him. I knew that I had my IQ in mind. He was a better player, way better player, was all-star, but I had to bring that grit. It's the only time we had a chance. And then for overall, I try to just leave it with them and then move on.
How hard is it now to instill that grit and that Rough Rider mentality into today's players? It's
tough, but also that's why you got to have certain players. You see from OKC, Lou Dort, tough, getting in you. You're not going to have a lot of Lou Dorts, but you got to have someone to mix it up. You got to have someone to hold your ground. Like, just because tough is not necessarily fighting.
Right.
Tough is, holding your ground, knowing when to do a body, when to take a good foul,
not
when to be a hard
down.
foul. And so I'm trying to teach it by, hey, listen here, watch how I work. For two, be smart about it. And the only thing I wasn't smart was going into the crowd. But for one, we were up at that time, and that was for me. I didn't think when I bumped him, I was going into the stand. I'm thinking I'm getting double tech and we move on. So, but no, you do it. Obviously, they got to watch how you are, but then obviously you got to teach these young kids, man. Like a lot of these guys are one and done. They move on. They haven't been taught a lot.
Right, 100%. So you finally make it to the Lakers.
I could have gone back to Brooklyn. Brooklyn at that time, they were kind of being 50-50 on it. They ended up offering that one, and my Lakers story is I end up talking to Rich Paul in the back after the Laker game. It's one of my better games with Brooklyn. We beat them. Ended up playing well, hit some big threes. I told Rich, hey, I want to come next year. He said, will you take the minimum? I said, yeah. I knew by that time I'm not getting any money. I'll take the minimum. And I knew that playing with the Lakers, I thought either A, we had a chance to win the chip.
And I'm sorry, Rich was your agent?
Rich wasn't my agent.
Okay.
I just talked to him.
Okay.
And a lot of times, listen, man, closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah.
I think for me, reaching out to him, I wanted to go there. I've always been a go-getter. If I want to go somewhere, talk to him. So he wasn't my agent. He's actually my agent now.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of funny how it worked out. But at that time, I was just reached out to him. So I'm talking to him during the summertime. Hey, talk to Braun. Let him know I want to come. Hey, let him know I'm going to control the locker room. He don't got to worry about it. I'll be the James Jones, the Jawan Howard, the Haslams, everyone that he's had. And ended up working out perfect, man. From Twitter, social media, nothing. There was nothing like being a Laker. When I ended up having that, and anytime I did signings, it was I could be overseas. Anytime I travel, there's Laker fans everywhere, man. It's just to win the championship. I'm now cemented. I think Norman Powell did it, but when we won our championship, I brought the trophy here to San Diego. I brought Braun. If you listen, I brought Braun to San Diego.
I remember.
Anytime you get LeBron to San Diego, and it's different. It's San Diego. Yeah, he could be in a hotel. Man, we were staying at the Pendry Hotel. I'm taking him to the Mexican restaurant. He's walking around downtown, one security guard. People are shocked just to see him walking.
Right.
I had a party inside there, a championship party. So for me to do that and have it at that time during COVID, have that and the pictures, like that was my whole thing of one of my get back to San Diego's.
How do you control an NBA locker room?
You put out fires. You see different egos. We had Kyle Kuzma. He ain't been paid yet. Talking to Braun here. Listen, he hasn't been paid. Hey, Kuz, we're talking about contracts. Rondo, hey, I know you're hard-headed. Hey, when Braun's here, you got to give him the ball here at this time. In film sessions, some coaches can't call out players. Hey, Braun, the guy went back door on you. You got, coach might not want to call him out. I'm the one there to put everyone in check, but everyone was fine with that because for one, I was all about winning. I was unselfish, and then we hung out together. I was cool with everybody.
So not every player will be able to do that.
No. It's a very rare thing, and it's a dying breed now more than ever. Iguodala was doing it at the end of his career. David West was good at that. You got to have respect, time, somewhat accolated, but overall they have to respect your IQ that you're wanting. I tell Kuzma, this is the contract you should take. Get the player option because whenever you do get traded, because obviously with Braun, you might get traded, that next team's going to want you. They're going to pay you. He ended up getting traded to the Wizards. They got the $100 million deal. So I knew the business, the contracts, the type to take, because if you don't take that deal and you don't play well enough, now your value diminishes. And so it was just my job just to understand it, and that's why I'm in the situation I am now.
Who are some of those guys for you in the locker room?
When I played?
Yeah, when you played on your various teams.
Othello Harrington. If I give you old school OGs, Derek Anderson when I had it. I
remember these names.
I get to the Lakers. I get to the Suns. Who else was for the Suns at that time? Leandro Barbosa was good, even though he has that little Brazilian accent. He was cool with it. Clippers. Trying to think who we had at that time. Not Kenyon Martin. I really missed him. I mean, that's why it's certain teams. It's like some teams you could win a championship and not have them. You could be good. Zaza Pachulia was that way.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it's an enforcer, but sometimes it's when they talk, everyone been quiet because overall they're so selfless. They're team first, and it's all about winning. There's no hey, I'm not saying it because I want the ball more. Winning is the number one priority.
Explain to me because we hear a lot about it from players, from coaches, even from people that worked at the hotel. Talk to me about what that experience was in the bubble.
Bubble was crazy, man. You tested 3 times a day. You were at Disney World outside in this hotel. The FBI set up a perimeter around. If you went past the line and came back, you had to quarantine for 3 weeks. Your family, loved ones, or only your wife could come in if you made it to the second round. It was just a court where it just had a screen of fans where you couldn't even hear it. It was empty. Eventually, by the second round, you had about 15 people. it was strictly just hoops. After you were done, we all had our own room. Like the room we're in now, every team had their own room in a convention center.
Okay.
You would eat there. You would play cards there. At this time, Versus came out. We had the big Versus when it was Snoop Dogg versus DMX. We had the West Coast versus the East Coast. We were in Bronze Room. I can't lie, man. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of Madden. When I say drinking, it was more the wine. It was more the I'm playing. Everyone had the Madden, but it was just strictly like, hey, listen, let's win this championship and get out of here.
Hey, what's it like playing with LeBron James? Arguably the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I tell the story. Actually, I don't tell it too often. Listen, when I first got to the Lakers, and when he walked in, he had an aura and a presence of how when he first walked in the room. I knew, I tell him this story, I knew we were going to be friends because we were the same age, married, both kids, high IQ, understand the game, and he's had teammates like me before, so we hit it off. But the Clippers just traded for Kawhi, signed and traded Kawhi, got Paul George. It's LA versus LA, and I just remember he had his own personal training camp before we had training camp, and he sent like a GIF of like 7, 8 lions walking. And he sent a text message and he said, I want everyone to cut out the outside noise. Or like a pack of lions, 10 toes down, all in each other's back. He said, this is the first road to our championship. I'll see you guys in Vegas tomorrow. And I just remember having chills. I was like, oh, this guy, it's a whole nother level. And that practice, and you hear the USA, man, how he practiced, you thought it was Game 7 of the finals. He's sprinting, dunking every single one. I was like, oh, we're going to win the championship. I see AD. I was like, oh, I've never been on a team like that. Mm-hmm. And I wish we'd have got the crowd because, man, we were number 1 seed. We were like, started 17-2, beating area. Hey, listen, I didn't get my parade. I felt cheated.
I was about to mention that.
Yeah.
You know, what is it like to watch, you know, like you said, him being the guy that he is, what is it like to like watch him on a day-to-day basis be like preparing, like get ready for a game?
Weight room, 7 a.m., the do-rag, shirt off, working on his body, then he goes to the table, comes back out, maybe gets 45 minutes of his workouts. If we have practice, he practices hard. Sometimes he might take a day off if he needs it. After that, he's icing, back to stretching, going home, sleeping in the little chamber to help his body recover, getting another rub down. And when his body be able to have it, he might do acupuncture to take out the tightness in muscles. Got the chef there for his meal, everything he needs. I think his only cheat is some red wine.
When he's like locked into that zone, is he speaking much? Is he friendly? Is he cracking jokes?
He's a clown. You go ahead, listen.
Well, I know we see that online, but I'm just wondering, like as the season progresses, as he gets more and more serious, is it like?
Yep. Then whenever he's quiet, he's quiet.
Okay.
And then it's a big game. He's locked in.
Okay.
And then sometimes he comes in like, yo, why are you so quiet in here, man? Turn the music and so you just gotta check his mood.
Got you.
I only saw it a couple times, like we play like the Clippers or the Milwaukee when he knows his matchup and all eyes on him, man. Like, bro, like he's the most scrutinized player ever. I mean, Jordan probably at least has social media, so he knows if he got 22 and then Sports Center's leading. Like he's so locked in on that certain level, man. It was impressive. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think we will again. But, man, kudos to him because not only is he one of the best of all time, people have him in their top 2, probably one of the most unselfish players.
Mm-hmm. Now, you end your career, and like you were saying earlier, you were blessed to be able to go from player to front of the bench. Talk to me about that experience and how that came about.
Yeah, it came out with Jay Kidd. He offered me from the bench. I was thinking I was going back with the Lakers. They kind of didn't really want me to come back. And it was so late in the game, I didn't really have another team to go to. I could have waited and then because of COVID got up with another team. But it was time for me to transition. And I transitioned from the bench. And now I walk into the gym, it's Luka Doncic. Mm-hmm. And our first year, we go to the Western Conference Finals. It took me about 3-4 months of a mental of I'm now in the front of the bus instead of the back of the bus. I'm in the back of the plane instead of the front of the plane. You know, I'm in the small locker instead of the big locker. I took off my backpack and now I have a role away of a coach. I wanted to change it. So I was in a phase for about 3 months, and then I caught my swag, I caught my energy of how it may be, and I just took off, man. And every year I've gotten more and more involved with the game planning of what we're going to do with Devin Booker, how we're going to guard Steph, offensively getting on Luka and Kyrie in the finals, bringing AD in. It's just, man, I've played against some of the best. I've now coached with some of the best, and now I'm here with a 3-time MVP with Jokic and telling him how we want to do pick and rolls and how that, man, just. I was never thought a kid from San Diego would have been able to see and do everything I do, but man, even though I've seen so much and done so much, I still have so much more to accomplish.
How did you make it to the Denver Nuggets from Dallas?
This happened this summertime. I did my first head coach interview was for the Suns. Memphis, I interviewed for the #1 assistant, and I was talking to Cleveland for the #2. And my only thing is, to me, it's progression. I'll stay in Phoenix, I'll stay in Dallas, and Dallas doesn't want to move me up, or I can't move up, then it might be time for me to go, because you got to grow in this business. And so when I got the call from Coach Alleman, he was like, "Hey, listen, I was in Singapore. He's like, hey, I want to interview you for the #1. He's like, when are you free? And I told him I'm on vacation. He's like, let's do it next week. I said, Coach, I will fly back tomorrow for this one. And I was already on my way back. I flew right when I landed. I packed, went to dinner with him for like 4 or 5 hours, offered me the job at dinner.
Nice.
By the time I hit the plane, I had the contract was sent. And for that one to be #1 for a team that has a chance to win the championship, for me to take a step up, and now to be here in San Diego for a game, I feel like God is meant to be.
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely. Feels divine for sure. What's a NBA head coaching interview like?
Good question. First, you do a Zoom one, and in a Zoom, you're having a face-to-face. What are your philosophies? What did you do in your last job? Let me give you some rapid-fire questions. How you do it? What do you think the strength of our team is? The weaknesses is? How would you deal with some controversy from the media, from your best player, if you didn't want to do this? Then the second interview is they'll give you projects. Hey, you're playing versus this team. How would you conduct it? What would be your pregame speech? What would be your film session in the morning? What would be your breakdown of this team?
Wow.
And then the third would be, if you make it to the final, you're now face-to-face with the general manager and owner, and now it's another presentation.
Wow.
Yeah, it's thorough, man. That's why I was a #3 assistant. I'm not going to be hired as a head coach as #3. I got to be #1. Jared, what'd you do? I ran the defense for the Denver Nuggets. How'd you do? Well, in the playoffs, we did this coverage. I noticed for this coverage, then we did this coverage for that one. And also, yeah, hey, listen, I might be doing defense, but I played in this league a long time. I know offense, too. I played with some of the best offensive players in the world. Mm-hmm. Defense is just harder to coach. So if you can coach defense, you can coach anything.
With you, I mean, when you have an IQ, you have an IQ. But with you, like your IQ being more so known for your offensive IQ, how was that transition been to being a defensive coach?
Well, hey, man, to be honest with you, man, I had defensive IQ. I just wasn't a lockdown defender.
Gotcha.
I
that makes sense.
Low man.
That makes sense.
I knew how to get the steals. I knew how to box out. I was someone when I played for Milwaukee, I was in the back line of the defense, and I would call the coverages, switch, down, run off. I would let all the young kids know. So for me, the IQ, and listen, I wasn't blessed with grades, but when it came to video games and basketball, man, I just understood how to be able to make my mark and stuff like that. And I can't lie, that was just God-given ability. It was something that I didn't have to work on. I just had that. And it's hard to teach it as we can, and that's why you have to break it down for film, for visual learners here, call people out for accountability here, and then have a certain personality be fun. It's too long of a season to be so serious all the time or be too big of a jokester all the time.
So with you now coaching with the Denver Nuggets, and you guys having the opportunity to play a preseason game here in your hometown of San Diego, talk to me about how surreal that moment's going to be for you.
I played here my third year. I was with the Suns, and we played in Phoenix, flew here, playing the Lakers. I got a DNP for a preseason game. They said, Jared, tomorrow's going to be your day. I'm like, my day? I'm like, all right. Hey, we're playing the Lakers. We're going to start you. Oh, all right, perfect, man. All right, they do the matchups. Steve Nash, you got Derek Fisher. Jared, you got Kobe. Grant Hill, you got... I'm like, wait, what? It was just... So I remember playing at the sports arena, having that one, staying the night, hanging out, doing dinner, and now to come back here, going to the same practice facility that I had training camp also with the Clippers and the Suns here, to be here, and then now at the... I didn't even know the owner, Kroenke, owns the sports arena. I got to tell him, hey, listen, we remodeling, we got to get an arena
right.
for that one, but not just for one. I mean, to have my mom, my brother, it's just for you just to see it. When I was a player, the whole city and friends were excited for me. He made it. Now it's more like, man, like he's grown, he's old, he's almost to a head coach.
That's dope, man. That's dope, man. It's been dope to see, man. Like I said, just you being from here, I've been a fan and been watching the journey the whole way along, man. It's been really dope and a pleasure to watch, man. Making San Diego proud for sure.
Man, for sure, man. Listen, San Diego, man, some of the best high school basketball. Sean Davis from Lincoln was a problem here. We had, who was it? We had Justin Armstrong. We played El Camino. There's so many guys that have played D1. San Diego never got the respect compared to LA. So that's why I used to play for EBO San Diego, and I ended up, how I got my scholarship or my invite, I had to go to the Pumps and play in an LA team. And so hopefully maybe one day when my career is over, maybe I come back here and start a big time AAU where all the best players, but everyone wants to be able to do it. And so my whole thing is maybe a program that gets the best. They don't got to worry about finances, and let's just worry about developing and giving people chances.
That's right, because you were doing a camp here for a little while.
Yeah, my camp, man, I had a fire camp. I had this all San Diego camp of Dominic McGuire, Chase Budinger, where you could see people, when San Diego high school kids, I wanted you to see, hey, you can make it. Or if not, NBA college overseas. I used to pay all the coaches around San Diego money just because they were afraid that their players were going to get stolen to come out there. DeAndre Ayton was there. Jalen Hands was there. We had so many people. Boogie Ellis, he came through. They were all young. To see that camp and then eventually to get Jabari Parker, CP, PJ Tucker. I was having pros. AIU had the best facility. It was a dream come true, but then eventually after that, once I started moving around, then I changed the camp.
I hear you. Yes. Dear Dudley, man, I think that was all I have for you today, man. This is a big pleasure. I've been trying to get this one done for a minute,
well,
so it's been an honor.
I always try to get back to San Diego.
Absolutely.
So you guys or whatever, man, but hopefully in a couple of years when I'll have my own team, head coach, and I'll come back here and be a little different.
Oh, for sure. I'll bring you back for another interview then. For sure. Been another episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix, Jared Dudley. I appreciate you joining me, man. Absolutely. Take care.